What's up, it's Prince Donnell, and today we're going to be talking about tax write-offs for online clothing stores. So if you have an online clothing store and you made money this year, you're looking for ways to get tax write-offs and deductions, look no further. I'm going to explain a few, but just to start, what exactly is a tax deduction? It can be an expense that is subtracted from your earned income in order to lower the amount of income that you're taxed on, which could ultimately lower the amount of taxes that you owe. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Number one, manufacturing and packaging. So if you're spending money with the manufacturer to create your clothing or you're buying the material, that can be considered a tax write-off. Just make sure that you're getting your invoices from that manufacturer. Also as well, when it comes to packaging, if you're getting inserts or box and shipping boxes and custom label packaging and etc. to improve the customer experience, that can also be considered a tax write-off. Number two, shipping cost and merchant fees. So you're spending money with USPS, UPS, and FedEx in order to get your clothing out to the customer. Those fees that you're paying to these mailing services can be write-offs. Also, when we talk about payment processing, in order for you to collect money, you're setting up an account with either Stripe, Square, PayPal, or Shopify Pay, and they charge merchant fees, sometimes 2.9%. That's also a write-off, but normally the merchant is going to be sending you a 1099-K at the end of the year, which will detail out the amount of fees that they charged you in order to collect that money for merchant services. Number three, marketing. And in my opinion, this should be the number one expense for all business owners in the beginning years, because marketing is the gas that allows your business to go fast. So if you're not spending the money on marketing, you're going to end up writing a check to the IRS. So why not spend it on your business for benefit? So there's all types of marketing that could be considered write-offs. You have Facebook and Instagram ads. You have Google, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, or even paying influencers. You also may have promotional giveaways as well. These can all be considered write-offs. And just make sure that you have your documentation, such as invoices and proof of what you're paying influencers. Normally with Facebook ads, Google, and TikTok ads, they normally have a running track record of how much money you spent with them for the year. But if you are paying influencers or doing some sort of promotional marketing, make sure you have invoices of you paying that, or with that promotional giveaway, you kind of have a documentation of what you did in that promotion and what was the value that you gave away, so that could count towards being considered a write-off. Number four, employees, contractors, and equipment. So let's start with employees and contractors. If you have people that are on your staff, the payroll, of course, is a write-off because you have staff members who are assisting you in order to grow the business. I think that this is the second most important expense for small business owners, because when you have great people on your team, it builds a great business. So I tell people, don't be cheap on that. Make sure that you get people on your team who are quality, because it's going to pay off in the long run when you guys achieve the vision that was set forth initially when you started the business. But the salaries are write-offs. And if you have a payroll provider, they'll make it very simple for you at the end of the year. Also, too, if you have 1099 contractors, such as photographers or videographers or people who don't actually work for you staff-wise, they're on a really more of a booking basis. You're booking them when you need them. They're contractors. Just make sure that, again, you have documentation of paying the invoices to the contractors. And if you pay them over a certain amount of money, I believe $600, you will indeed have to issue them out a 1099 at the end of the year. But again, if you have a payroll provider, you can put all of your contractors inside of that payroll system and mark them as 1099. So at the end of the year, the payroll provider will automatically send out the W-2s and 1099s, which makes it easier for you during tax time when it comes time to file, and you being able to get the write-offs for the employment and for the contractors. Also with equipment, you may have to buy equipment for your online clothing store as well. Some of that could include backdrops, cameras, ring lights, editing softwares. These are all things that are used for your business in order for it to grow. So the equipment that you are purchasing can be considered write-offs as well. Number five, home office deduction. If you use a dedicated space in your house regularly and exclusively for your online clothing business, it could be considered a write-off. But keep in mind, there needs to be an exclusive and separate place in your home that you're only using for the business and nothing else. So you can't have your kitchen table be considered a part of that home office deduction because you're there eating food with dinner with your family and also running the business. It can't work that way. You need to have a dedicated place in your home that only business happens and nothing else. And it needs to be your principal place of business. So if you have an office outside of your home, you wouldn't qualify for the home office deduction. It's only if that's your principal place of where you do all of your business, okay? And from there, with the home office deduction, you could take one of two things. You could do a simplified home office deduction where it's just an easy calculation based off of the square footage of the space that you're using. And get a deduction that way. Or some people itemize and they take a deduction from, the lights to the gas to a percentage of the rent. All of those things itemized out. That's a little bit more that's involved because you're going to need invoices and receipts of everything that you're paying for throughout the year. But make sure you talk to a tax professional. They'll let you know which angle is best, whether going the simplified route or itemized route, depending upon the amount of savings that you get between the two, and if you qualify and have the documentation the right way. But home office deduction is a great tax savings deduction to be able to lower the amount of money that you would end up owing in taxes. Last but not least, car and gas. So if you're using your personal vehicle in order to drop off orders to clients, go to events, meet with manufacturers, vendors, and clients, and etc., then you may be able to get a write-off on your vehicle, and that can either be a standard mileage deduction or an actual expense. The method that you use for the write-off on a car will really just depend upon how much savings you get on either. So both options are in benefit based on the person. So I normally say that when you're getting a write-off on your car and et cetera, that you want to talk to a tax professional so that they can run the numbers, crunch them down, and figure out which method, standard mileage or actual expenses, is better for you, right? So these are some of the tax deductions that you can get as one who owns an online clothing store. And there are even more as well. But I always recommend talking to a tax pro if you don't know what to do and you're looking for some education and some knowledge. And of course, you can come here to Jumping Jack Tax in order to be able to help you out. We have knowledgeable business specialists who focus in on online clothing stores to be able to make sure that they're maximizing all of your deductions, and they're also making sure that they're fitting that within your goals, because I don't believe that you should take a write-off on everything if it doesn't fit your goal and you have plans in the next 2 or 3 years, so you want to be able to show profit loss. So it really just depends, and that's the reason why you want to talk to one of our business specialists who can help you if you have an online clothing store. And on top of that as well, we also help online clothing stores with their bookkeeping, accountability. So we hop on monthly calls with you to be able to overview your profit loss statements and balance out your books, look through balance sheets and etc. to make sure that you're in good financial order so that while you're running your business and making money, we're managing the business finances as well. So I hope these tax deductions work for you, and that even if you come to Jumping Jack Tax or not, or go to a tax professional, that you utilize these and enhance your knowledge so that you can make sure that you're getting the appropriate tax deductions to be able to lower the amount of taxes that you owe. With that said, I'm Prince Donnell, founder of the Jumping Jack Tax franchise. Peace.